Hello, peeps. How are you today? It's a wet morning, bit misty, but not bad. Not bad. You get this microphone set there, right? If I don't wear the microphone, it doesn't come out very well on the video, and I can't stand having the bad sound. Sometimes it doesn't matter if the photo isn't well, but if the sound is bad. Anyway, what we're talking about today? Well, I think Labour are in a bit of a free fall here at the moment. And, well, not only them, they're in panic stations, the other parties. Now, I tell you why I say this. I did this video the other day to say how the Caerphilly election is not as they're saying, because all the parties joined together to beat reform, which, well done to them, they decided to do that. But if they decide to do that in the election now in 6 months' time in Wales, they're going to lose their own candidates, because they can't do that. The only way they can do it is to have meetings with each other parties and decide what candidates they want to put in there. But they can't do that. See, this new system is done by proportional representation in Wales, and it means that it'll go on the votes for each party. So they've boxed themselves in, see? Like, for instance, now, here's how I see it. Say the Labour Party has got a candidate. Well, so what happens with these things? They have candidates. They pick a load of candidates to start with, and then they win the positions, and these candidates go into these positions, you see, with the new system. I think there's still around, is it, I think there's around 100 altogether, and I'm not sure was there 50 have been voted normally in. Anyway, so what that relies on is the population voting for a certain party to get the right allocation. And then the more votes they get under a proportional representation, the more of these 6 AMs they'll get in these areas. Sorry, is this raining a bit, yeah? So the way I see it is, say Labour want to win now, and they want to get something in the Senedd, what's going to happen is most people are going to encourage them to vote for Plaid to beat reform. Now, the Labour Party are going to go like this, and they're going to go, oh, God. If everybody does that, we're not going to have anybody in the Senedd. Do you see where I'm going? So they're going to have to tell their own supporters, you're going to have to vote for Labour. So in certain areas, they might agree with Plaid and they'll have to make an agreement. But most of the people in those areas who are Labour AMs now are going to be going, what's going on? I'm a Labour Party member and I'm not going to get voted in. The same is going to happen with Liberals. So the Liberals have joined together in the last Caerphilly election, and the Greens and the Liberals had 2,500 votes in the Caerphilly election, not this last time, the time before. And this time they only had a couple of hundred because they moved to Plaid Cymru, see. Sorry about this, the water's gone on the land. Is that better? Because they moved to Plaid Cymru, see. So when this comes around next time, the Liberals are going to be, they're all going to be having a meeting between themselves because they're in this denial at the moment. Well, they think they're going to win, and they're going to go, well, when we go to this next one, we can't vote for Plaid Cymru again, unless we're going to lose our own support. It's hilarious. And the reform vote is good because the reform vote is solid. People have decided to vote. Lots of the reform vote are even people who've never voted before. I suppose a bit like Brexit. So I think they're starting to get very worried about this. And quite an interesting thing yesterday, Farage did this thing in the House of Commons where he brought a bill in to try and basically remove the ECHR or reform it or whatever. And the Liberal Democrats decided to put all their members around him and try to make a fool of him. But what it did was, it was an absolutely brilliant move. Because you have the Labour Party and the Conservative Party say they want to scrap the ECHR or change it, and they abstained from the vote. So they had a chance to do this, and they abstained. Conservatives, I don't know what happened there quite, but all of the other left-wing parties joined together, so they've actually shown that they're a uni-party. And I think it was a brilliant move, because during the next election now, Farage can say, well, I had this bill up in the House of Commons where we could adjust this ECHR, and none of you lot voted for it. So if the Labour and the Conservatives bring that up, he's got them. Because they didn't vote for something that they could have voted for. It's very, very clever. And then the people who voted against it are crowing a bit there now, the Liberals. But the people who voted for them anyway were going to vote for him. So if you think about it, now the next election in Wales now, like I was saying to you before, everywhere where Liberals and Labour and Plaid Cymru and the Greens put candidates up, unless they come to agreement who wants to win, it's pointless. And I think they're in real danger of free fall here, because what's happening at the moment is they're in this sort of position where they think Plaid Cymru is the hero. But when they sit down and look at it like I look at these things in detail, they'll see that Plaid Cymru, if everybody votes Plaid Cymru, it's going to destroy the Liberal Party, it's going to destroy the Green Party. And you've got Zara Sultana and Corbyn. So you've got so many parties on the left now. If they all go together in the same one, so if they decide to vote for Plaid Cymru in one area, it means they destroy all their own parties. And then if they decide to vote for their own parties, which they have to, they destroy the Labour Party. It's hilarious. I think lots of people commentating on this really don't know what's going on in politics. I really do think they're in real danger of free falling here. Now, of course, there's lots of Labour Party voters are really nice people. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean this. I just mean the leaderships have gone bonkers. Because they're basically trying to say that people who vote for things that aren't fascist or racist are all bad people. And then what you do then, you cause this reaction where people like me, and remember, I used to Tony Benn supporter. If you start calling people's names, you won't get their vote. And lots of people, I think in the UK, are afraid to say what they vote for because they'll be out of a job if they're in the civil service or in schools or whatever. So when they go in that polling booth, it's their time to say, fuck you. And they vote who they want to without anybody knowing. So I'm getting more confident as I get along, I gotta say. I definitely am. Now, even in Scotland, Reform, they reckon, are going to be the second party in Scotland. That's unheard of. When you think about it, Plaid Cymru and John Sweeney have met together to have an alliance of the socialists. But when you think about it, if you look in detail at this, John Sweeney's party are on the down. they might not get in next year. You know, when you look at these things, Plaid Cymru is very confident at the moment, but I think they're on a sticky wicket. Because all these other parties from the left in Wales especially are suddenly going to dawn on them. If we support Plaid Cymru, we're going to destroy our own candidates' chances. And that ain't going to happen. So they're going to have these discussions, and it'll work in a few areas. And they'll vote for Plaid or whatever. But it ain't going to work in a big area because it's going to destroy their own chances of getting into the Senedd. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to fall out. So my thoughts on reform in Wales now. I know I said this a while back after the Caerphilly election. I think reform are going to absolutely storm it. They're going to be the biggest party, and cross fingers, if the Conservatives do get about 10, they will join with Reform to run the Senedd. But Reform have got to get over 30. So I think they can get, they're talking about Reform maybe get 37. But like I said, the trouble is if these other parties join together now, because it's been designed for only the Socialists to be able to run it. Drakeford has come out and said that himself now. So these other parties join together. I think there's going to be like a constitutional crisis in Wales myself, where the bigger party and maybe the Conservatives join together and they're still blocked out. And then that will cause a huge constitutional crisis and the people of Wales will rise. And that's when things will start to happen in a big way. Because it'll be taken to court. And as you've seen, I'm just a little bit hillbilly halfwit, and it's easy to find the evidence they've been colluding together. So, yeah. Ask Gaz today. I'm quietly confident today. Like I said, lots of people who follow politics don't follow it close enough to think about what happens. People see a bit on TV, and I don't blame people on here. I blame lots of the commentators and lots of the left-wing people who vote Labour really don't understand politics in reality. They see the main headlines, but they don't look at it in detail. And I do. I look at it in a lot of detail. So can Plaid Cymru win Wales next year? Yes, it can. Plaid Cymru could be the biggest party next year. Welsh Labour are going to be absolutely destroyed. But Plaid Cymru, if Plaid Cymru become the biggest party next year, it'll destroy all the other left-wing parties. And they won't have that. So just think about that for a minute. If the left-wing parties support Plaid Cymru, they're destroying their own parties. And then you've got other parties joining the thing like Corbyn's party. That's going to take votes off Labour. They're in free fall, people. So, of course, things can change in politics very quick. But Gaz is quietly confident. And I think this is the way to save Welsh farming. I definitely think this is the best way to save Welsh farming instead of marches or anything like that, is to get people to vote for reform so we can get total change in Wales. So please comment, rate and subscribe. Hype down there if it's down there. I don't know if it's there. All the best, Gaz. Ta-da.